Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence. Please be seated. Everyone was presented with their meeting minutes from last month's meeting. Were there any additions or corrections? I will.
Motion to accept the minutes as read.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did everyone have a chance to look at the treasurer's report? Questions? All right, then I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, reading of the bills, we're gonna have to do this a little bit differently today. So we have 18 vouchers. And we're gonna have to read them all because we didn't have a chance to approve them. So bear with me. There is M&T Bank for $2,122.51. A&M Graphics for $3,146.85. Village Ace Hardware, $67.04. Advanced IT, $466.31. Butler Disposal System, $300.22. Charter Communications, $725.89. Doyle Security System, $1,826.06. JM Landscaping for $2,447.60. Jerome Fire Equipment, $5,211.67. Lewis Uniform, $46.45. Mobile Health Appraisal Services, $385. Municipal Emergency Services for $988.16. Noble Tire Service for $176.35. New York Fire Equipment for $501. Star Lipper Group for $260. U.S. Bank Equipment Finance, $319.44. Verizon, $334.85. Verizon Wireless, $40.38. And Kansas City State Bank for $45,583.24. And I don't have a total. Does anyone have any questions on the vouchers that I just read? Then I will make a motion to pay vouchers 1 through 18.
Second.
Who did that, Randy? Was that you?
Yes.
Yes.
You want me to total that for you? Oh, sorry. Roll call. Ed?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Randy?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Communications. We had a couple of things in the mail. Sorry, guys. Salisbury Magazine, Fire District Association, and a letter from 4 Marsh, which I think is maybe some type of first responder communication. Look at that later. I don't have anything under the general report, and I don't have anything under administration either, unless anyone else does. Financial report, the 2022 audit is in process. think they've gathered everything at least, Megan? And they're
Yeah,
working?
we're gonna get everything uploaded to the portal and,
Okay, so you haven't done that?
oh yeah, I talked to Sean, we're working on it.
Okay. Other than that, there's nothing else going on right now. Truck maintenance.
Yes, I have a few updates. First of all, truck 1 and engine 21, I've been working specifically with Churchville trying to get some things cleaned up. Let's talk truck 1. I have an issue with what they call the outriggers or downriggers wandering on a off or driver's side. They did a lot of work to that late last year that I had budgeted. Long story short, been trying to get it in, but to be quite frankly, they're just short of help and behind. I ended up having to, well, let me stop you there. That's the first report on that one. The second one on engine 21, I was owed some warranty work, okay? Technically, it was out of warranty. However, I have everything documented. Quite frankly, I had to call the vice president of Churchville, out of Churchville, New York. One on maintenance and the other on sales portion. Engine 21 warranty work, we have a leaning issue. It's been documented for months. Long story short, they're gonna end up picking up engine 21 specifically and taking it to Churchville, Rochester, and fix it there in the very near future. It's not there yet because I don't want the truck sitting there. They've ordered basically any kind of part you can imagine that would take care of the project. When it goes, by all means, I'll let you know. But the person that's picking it up has a CDL Class B from Churchville to take it there and fix it, no charge. But there's also some issues with, I noticed that all kinds of lighting, the trim lighting and lighting, DOT light was all cracked. I could see that the screws were over torqued. I'm getting that covered, things like that. That's work in progress, hopefully very, very soon. Truck 1 is gonna be fixed in Syracuse, but again, with the help from the vice president. There's some issues with the, either maybe some air or something within the hydraulic system that's causing that. So again, I don't anticipate having a charge for at least the engine 21 portion. I have no idea on the truck, but by all means, keep me in the loop where that makes sense. Okay, that's truck 1, engine 21. All of the chief cars' winter tires have been changed. I believe Nick Tolley was either done this week or next week, but all the other 3 are all done. Wayne brought the over at station or over at Nobles. That's done tomorrow. So we're ahead of the game on that. Normally we wait till Memorial Day, but we're all set with that. Squad 1 in the pickup, talked to Jerome's and we're scheduled to get the vent put on the exhaust system so they can be plugged in. I just got a little bit behind on that project. So that's scheduled. That's all the PMs have been done for the year. It's just keeping things going throughout for the rest of the year. Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
56 will be on the air for trading available for a call.
For Brett.
21, just for curiosity, is the frame leaning or is it the body leaning on the
The
frame?
body, interesting, the little history, and it's important that you know, back in September, I had a complaint from the company guys that it's leaning a little bit. So I talked to Jesse over at Churchville, and I'll say things nicely, that I had to call in the troopers to have them weigh the corner weights. They brought in their corner scales and it's all underweight, so it's not overweighted. Bottom line, I talked to engineering and different people, and they're talking about shimming. According to the Vice President of Sales, John Alfieri, and service, it happens. So they're just making provisions, but it's not the frame.
Okay.
It's
That's what I was
the
just-
body. It's
Okay.
just, it happens according to them once in a while. It happens often, but I could see if I was overweight, because that happens. Normally, we've not done a good job managing the weight of the truck.
Distributing the weight.
Well, this time, I had the troopers come in, certifying scales, and had it done correctly and have it in writing and fix my darn truck. I said it differently. I said fix my darn truck.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for me.
All right. Jeff, building and grounds?
Yes, Penn Power went through the generator, their annual inspections of the generator. During that inspection, we had a problem at Station 2's generator. It start there in the last power outage. They found a high temperature sensor was bad. They did change that in that. Also, they found that the digital display interface is broken on Station 2's generator. They sent me a price of $1,564.73 to fix that. He says it's a very crucial part of the generator. I assume it's the digital part of the generator to tell what's wrong with it.
Can you give me that number one more time?
$1,564.73. Okay, also, we got Station 2 sign. He requoted it, he didn't change anything. For the sign itself, it's $7,279. And then installation is $1,084 for a total of $8,363. And that would complete this whole sign project.
Do you have POs for him or no?
No, I don't. I don't even know if I have it. If I do, they're probably over.
Does anybody have any questions on either of those today?
So he needs just one?
Might need 3.
Jeff, on that generator, that thing, is that something that we broke, or is it
I
just
just think
something?
it just broke.
Just broke?
Yeah. Yeah, because if it's in the generator, that's locked and there's no one can get into that other than myself. So. There's also a problem with the box on the building. There's a digital display that, I thought that's what he was talking about originally, but I got a price on that. You need to replace that because you can't program the generator to kick on to do a cycle. So I was gonna put it in the budget this year to replace that box so we can, I don't even know what day or what, you can't get so sun bleached.
Can't read it.
Can't read it, so, but I was gonna budget for that.
All right, anybody have any questions on the Station 2 sign, and do we want to move forward with
What is that to do with the Station 2 sign?
So the Station 2 sign is the one in front of the building, like
Yeah.
the sign
Just
out
to be just
here.
like this one.
Okay.
It's
Replace
basically gonna
it.
take the one in Station 2 and replace it.
Replace it with that?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is truly just our sign.
And it'd be all LED like all the other ones, so everything would be LED. The one that was kind of
Next
a
week.
makeshift sign when we did it back 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
So that's what I was gonna say, I don't wanna spend any money on it
Yeah.
until after next
Yeah.
year. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, that one has nothing to do with that.
Yep, okay.
All right, well, I'm gonna make a motion to spend the $1,564.73 to fix the digital display on the generator.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then I will also make a motion to purchase the new sign for Station 2 at a total cost of $8,363.
Second.
Roll call that one. Ed,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Tom.
Yep. Says
Okay.
buy more parts on here, is that,
What's that? That's on my next thing.
okay.
All right. On the Plymouth vent, there's a disconnect handle. Inside the handle, there's a little relief valve that you pull to release the bladder. Two of them, the one at Station 3 got broke right off. I took the one out of Station 5 to replace it. Now, engine 11's is bent a little bit and it air leaks by it. But to replace just the valve is $355. I have one more at Station 5, but I don't know if you want me to strip parts out of Station 5 all the time, or stores or whatever it is. To replace the whole handle, it's $668. And he told me $350 just for a little air valve.
That's just for the part?
That's just for the part.
You
I'll put
changing it?
I'll put it in. Unbelievable.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Is there
Involved engine.
a design flaw that they're getting broke, or is it just
I don't know how to
Heat of the
politically
moment?
tell you this, but
It's kind of an operator error. Our guys are having they're pulling out too quick.
too quick?
and the thing
And it's
is,
not disconnecting quick enough. I've addressed it about, if I tell you 150 times,
You lied.
it's bad.
No, I was just curious, I didn't,
That's what it is.
Yep.
Now, interesting enough, I don't believe for 1 minute that we're the only fire department dealing with this. I
Right.
think there is some design issues, without question. There's different types throughout, but unfortunately, when we got the grant for the system, that's kind of what we worked with Tony from Plymouth, and that's what we came up with. Do I think it's ideal? No, I don't. But that's what we got.
Well, it was also because that's what was put in Station 3, and we wanted to keep them all unified.
Correct.
And I don't think there's any way you're gonna protect it.
Not with this design. There's other designs, but at this point, I would ask you to fix I don't want to take parts off of Station 5. I would ask you to actually buy a unit and buy a backup, so we don't have to come back. Because if we broke one, we're gonna broke.
well, do we need two? We need two, right?
So you need three.
actually, I need three.
I would ask you to buy 3, that way we'll have one in stores for a backup. I'll
Don't
keep
tell
telling people
anybody
now. I tell them.
Tell them we got extras.
I mean, you want a motion to purchase 3 of them? Is that what we need to do?
Is this the valve or the whole handle?
You're just buying the valve, right?
Just the valve. I don't think you need a whole handle.
I'll make a motion, we purchase 3
It'd be
valves to replace the 2 broken ones and give us one.
It'd be $1,065.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Any other good news for us?
Well, yes.
Checking.
Got a letter that from drones that our fire system at Station 4 needs to be inspected. It's due for its annual inspection. When I talked to the guy, I said it was in our Station 1 event due. He had no record of it. So I said, well, maybe someone else does it. So I checked, and it is a different company, but the company's no longer in business. So I told them to just do both of them. So you'll see that coming. They're gonna be doing that next week.
They're both up, this one's up too?
Yes, that hasn't been done since 2010. There's a reason why the company got out of business. I'll tell you,
So what's the total?
I don't know what the price is. What it
As
is.
long as the system's together, it's not bad. I don't know the number, but
I don't know what the cost.
Well, we gotta be done.
It's like 100, probably.
it's peanuts, really.
Yeah,
It's like probably.
I'll make a motion that we service both of them here at Station 4.
Second.
And I believe that's all I have.
It's enough.
We're cutting you off.
All right. Go through your laundry list.
Did we vote on it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I seconded it. So,
Yeah. Oh, you wanna vote?
No, because it was
Yeah,
only
it was, I
1,000,
got
right?
Randy with it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, I do have a laundry list. The first item is half of it, of the 6,000. It is for the DEC grant that were approved back in November, I think. But it was delayed in getting me the information. That is $3,183, which is going to be, half of that, $1,500 is what we're gonna get reimbursed from the DEC once everything comes in and they sign off on it. So that'll be $1,500 that comes back to us. The batteries for the carry system, I discussed that with you guys after the last meeting was canceled. Those are all changed out, so hopefully we won't have any more issues with that. I'll give a report on that in a little bit. We have a set of gear that we borrowed from Phoenix for Amanda Schaefer. And they offered to sell it to us for $1,500. It's been on loan for a year, and the other option is that we would have to buy her gear because we don't have anything that small. This gear was sized for her when she first got into Phoenix. So the gear is roughly 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old. So it would still last us a few more years.
What would it cost if we bought new?
2,800? No, you're way off now.
3,800, I'm
There
sorry.
you go.
Sorry,
3,800.
3,800.
If it was 28, I'd say
So we
let's
got
buy the new
something.
stuff. Yeah,
Sorry, I'm 3,800.
This is a good deal, friends.
The next one is medical supplies. A lot of gauze and stuff that I've gone through that we're out of now. And the drugs used for the check and inject, which used to be the EpiPens that we paid a fortune for. We went to the check and inject system. Those are expiring. So we need to get new ones of that, which is only a tenth of the cost of what the EpiPens cost us.
Do you have a price?
The $285 for 12 vials for the, what we need for the check and inject.
Is that the whole,
Yeah, it's included in the whole, oh, I didn't put a price on there? Oh, sorry, $990 for the medical.
And 285 of that is for...
Yeah, and 285 of that is for the EpiPen. Sorry, I thought there was a price on there. My bad. And then the next item is sorted drawers for the district pickup that Jeff is looking to have for the smaller items that he can pull the drawer out when he needs it. And a pump for the fog machine needs to be replaced. John looked at it. We've replaced all the other guts last year, and the pump is now failing. So $16 or $18 for the pump is a lot better than trying to replace the entire machine that's only 3 years old. The next item, they're requesting, AC Natoli is requesting glucometers and the test strips for the squads for the medical bags. The glucometers are actually gonna be free, well, at no charge, I should say, from GVAC. And all we had to do was buy the test strips and the lancets, which is what you use to prick the fingers. And then a replacement bar and chain for the steel saw on engine 11 needs to be replaced. And Station 3 is requesting 5 binders for map books.
All right, and the revised total of all of the RTPs is $6,533.40.
Is the bar and chain for 21 or 11? It says 21, but you
It
said
should be 11.
11.
Any other questions? Then I will make a motion to purchase PO 2207, 2210, 2211, 2212, 2213, 2214, 2215, and 2216 for a total of $6,533.40.
Second.
Ed,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
All right, security and computers.
I got one other item.
Never mind.
Last month, we approved some mats for the stations, and my understanding is that Station 2 wants different mats. And so with that, the mats that they're looking for are going to be $395 for the mats that they're looking for.
And how much were the ones that we were?
And then I would be returning the other mats at $200 for a refund of $200.
What's the difference?
Aye.
The difference is the mats that they want are anti-fatigue drainage mats versus the floor mats that we purchased for the other stations.
These are the things that they want in front of the gear racks, right?
Mhm.
So they don't have dirt on, that they're on for all of 5 minutes when they're putting their gear on?
Well, it has to do with drainage and whatnot. The water coagulates on the mat versus draining through the mat. Now, don't take this out of context. So I'm not 100% confident because this did not come through me. But if there's not ventilation or proper drainage, the water stays on the mat.
So when they're taking their shoes off, boots
Yeah,
off.
you gotta remember where the racks are is where they're washing the trucks, where everything's wet. It just allows a little drainage. That's the difference, I think. Am I wrong? Again, went around me.
Bishop.
You guys were forwarded an email explaining what they were looking for. I didn't read that, or I read it, but did you guys read it?
No, didn't get it.
Say anything.
I sent it to all the commissioners. Steve commented on it.
I got it.
Randy commented, you were all sent with an explanation from the lieutenant on what he was looking for. There was a clear cut. That's because I couldn't help in this case.
Well, it was what they spec'd, right? Is that what they
Yes.
spec'd originally?
I can't help you with that.
That's what he's,
I don't know that because I talked to him.
Wayne and I had this discussion earlier, and I said that it shouldn't be his or I decision, that it should be brought up in front of the board. We okayed he okayed what you put in for the 200, right? But it wasn't what Station 2 spec.
I understand what they're looking for. My only beef with the whole thing is it should have went through him. Right? I mean, there's a chain of command for a reason or proper channels, and it should have went through the chief.
Steve, I still think there's a misunderstanding of what comes to the chief and what doesn't. I do believe that. I sat in your chair next to Betsy, and when I was there was still a bit of a confusion on what comes to the chief's office, what goes to Wayne direct, what goes to you. I think there's still a misconception. I mean, do people come to you for things that you don't think that they should?
Yeah, and then I send it back.
See, like let's say the mats, right? So to me, the question about mats should go to you, right? And then if you say, okay, tell Wayne what it is you're looking for, then they can tell Wayne, hey, there's a reason we want this, because we're washing the trucks here, we would prefer this type, other than, okay, there's an explanation, but.
See, I tend to agree, because when guys go directly to the purchasing guy, if he doesn't have all the information, he's gonna question and he's gonna push back. That's what he's going to do. I know you're sitting right next to me, but that's what's gonna happen. There is absolutely confusion from the members, from the company officers, on who do they go for what. We know, or they know, that you vote on what to spend. They know that. But again, I just dealt with just tonight being told that the fire commissioners don't buy anything for the trucks. I was just told that today, that one of my company officers told that to one of my chief officers on a call. Well, the realistic problem is that before I bring stuff to the board, it has to be presented to me properly. And then there's a chain. I'm not gonna ask you to spend money without conferring to stores that we have stuff in stock. Story for another day. But there's a big misconception on who they go to for what. And I don't know how to 100% fix this. Sitting there and sitting in my seat now.
Well, I mean, I can see your point, but I mean, do you want to be bothered with every single little purchase that
The
comes down
answer
to?
is, so that's a great thought, right? I don't want the captain to come to me for a bottle of spray.
Right.
I give him the darn spray, Wayne. Give him the spray. If they need 2 bottles, it's probably okay, right? But when we're talking $1,000 worth of mats, because of what they're dealing with, then I should know that. That way I could sell it to the district with some information on why and what they need and how they need. If they need a replacement flares, go to Wayne. But there's still, would you agree that there is a misunderstanding about when they go to them direct and when they come to me or when they go to you?
So maybe I misunderstood, or maybe I confused the issue. If it's something that's in store, that we've already purchased and is in stores, then they should.
But he has stuff in stores that directly affects my operation. Turnout gear, boots, miscellaneous fittings, I want to know when they're bugging him for that. Now, if the captain goes to him and says, I got to replace a set of gloves for firefighter XYZ, as long as they produce a form, then if they lose them, then just let me know. But again, there's a little bit of judgment, but it's still been very, very challenging. It makes Wayne upset, it makes me upset, and it makes the guys upset. We kind of need direction from you on when, because I've empowered the captains since January to be in charge of the station. I want them to have the ability to work, but there's some responsibility there too, so.
Well, I think that's gotta, and I hate to say this, but I think that's gotta come from you two. You two have to figure out when do you want them to go to Wayne and when do you want them to go to
We
you.
can do that. We can figure that out
If
in
it's
an
cleaning
hour.
supplies, if it's paper towels, if
Right.
it's Wayne's got that in stores. I mean, you need to maybe put something in writing to them and say, if it's this, I mean,
We can do that. If you're okay with that, Wayne and I, are you good
well,
with
because
it?
they
Well,
shouldn't come, and I don't mean this, it shouldn't come directly to us. It should be going through you two, one way or the other.
I'm not disagreeing.
It's gotta come from you two to bring to the board.
I think you guys need to come up with a plan or some suggestions.
Okay.
Like, for this type of stuff, Wayne. For this type of stuff, you. And then bring it to us, because then we'll make sure that that's the way it's enforced.
I'm good with it, he's good with it.
And if there's gray area, send an email to both of you, and the board will
Fine.
respond.
And I think it's important for Wayne, if somebody's abusing something, like if Wayne feels that, you know, I've given him 4 of these in the past week, that's excessive, then Wayne needs to go to you and say, hey, chief, we may have an issue. Maybe there's a reason, right? But then you can take it up with your officers and say, hey, we need to look at this.
I'm perfectly good with that.
Yeah,
Whatever we can
I
make
don't
it
think you need to
simpler.
be bothered with the little penny.
I
things.
agree.
You got other bigger fries.
This mat thing, to me, I should have been involved in that. That's a bigger scope than just throwing a rubber mat down. We would have avoided all this. So we'll figure it out. Okay, we'll let you know how. We'll come up with something in writing. When to go to Wayne and when to come to the chief. Fair enough?
Sounds great.
All right, let's do it.
So what is your pleasure in that situation?
Well, it sounds like there's a justified reason for what they want. I mean, I don't think it's just because they don't like the color or the texture or something. It sounds like there's a justifiable reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean,
Is the turnout gear right near the?
Oh, sure, you've got it.
Right on
You've
top.
got the turnout gear, a rack, a truck. Don't get excited. The rack that they're currently using is away from the truck, but it's still in the same truck. Right.
So it's kind of justified.
Yes, it is in my opinion, yes.
Are you okay with it?
100%. And support it.
You're returning the other one, so we'll get a
So
credit.
it's
We'll get a credit on it.
$100.
We'll get a
so
credit
it's
on it.
194.
Plus shipping, right?
Yeah, for the difference.
So does somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Conference line 3188 Dairy Line.
Opposed? Carried. All right. Is that
The rest of you.
your list?
For
no.
conference line 3188.
You're killing me.
I sent, I didn't get the pricing back yet, but I sent I sent 6 things of turnout gear out for repair. Unfortunately, they haven't gotten me the pricing back yet. So, some of it's significant and some of it's minor. So, but I was hoping to have that, but I don't have it. So, but I will let you know probably at the workshop.
Where's that going?
Still using the same company?
No, it's an outfit out of Rochester.
Oh.
Is that Turnout Gear Express? Division of Churchville.
So,
Name keeps coming up.
It's gonna get interesting with them.
that's it for now.
Now you're done? Okay, thank you. Which I hate to say this because you're gonna keep talking. So security and computers. I am gonna actually turn it over to Wayne because he has been working diligently with Advanced IT and, who was it else? Security system, Doyle, to get this stuff straightened out, so I'll let you give the update.
Start with Station 3 has, well, let me back up. Well, there's problems. Station 4, everything is back online, everything is working, the Wi-Fi is working, the phones are working, Doyle system's working, fine.
What was the issue with that?
So the original issue, this I do know, was because, and you're gonna be surprised at this, someone unplugged the router. And then they couldn't understand why they didn't have internet.
Was that easy?
That was the stupid thing.
That was the router issue.
That was
The
the
Carrie
Wi-Fi.
Doyle system was something got unplugged.
Yeah, the main cable going to the internet was not connected or connected properly, I should say. So that caused the problem with the Doyle. But the original issue was people plugging stuff in that they shouldn't have plugged in, disconnecting stuff that they weren't supposed to.
It goes back to my, stop touching stuff.
Yeah. And the phone issue was primarily because they had it plugged in backwards. Somebody wanted to move the phone and they unplugged it and didn't plug it back in correctly. But either way, Station 4 should be up and back and running, shouldn't have any issues. The Station 2 issue with the oil carry system is still a ghost. I haven't had any issues since, but I haven't heard any complaints that people can't get in certain doors. So until I can track that down more, which is one of the reasons why we bought the batteries. There's disc batteries in all of the carry systems, and that it holds the memory in the system. So if it loses power, it doesn't lose the data.
Is that a yearly thing?
I don't know when they were replaced, so basically I got the batteries and replaced them all. So I wasn't questioning whether it was done or wasn't done. Jeff replaced the remainder of the backup batteries. That was part of the issue with Station 2. When the power went out, the battery died. And so those were replaced, and then he replaced the other ones. So we should be all good with that stuff. Station 3's computer. The radio room computer is running, but it's running on Windows 8, which is no longer supported. And I'm also being told that it's also a security risk. So we probably should get with Advanced IT to check out the rest of the computers within the district to see.
That's Station 3, you said?
Yeah, that's Station 3, to see what we need to upgrade and what we can get away with for now. But the line officer room computer at Station 3 won't turn on. It's gonna cost more for him to diagnose, try and figure out what the problem is, or assume what the problem is, than it is to buy a brand new one. Right now, you're probably looking at about $1,100 for a new computer for both the radio room and the line officer's room at Station 3. So that'd be $2,200 for both computers. That would be your basic model, or middle of the road model, similar to what the chief got. Nothing fancy, just your typical Microsoft programming, and which would be Microsoft 365. So, but I don't have a confirmed number yet. That's just what he estimated to me. But the line officer's room one does not work at all right now. So, I don't think. Is that the last of the issues?
Station 2 is all set now with somebody took Google's off and
That was Station 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did fix that, you know.
Oh, and that's when they discovered it was on Windows 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
he says it runs, but he goes, it's the best that you're gonna get. The computers are, I think, close to 8 years old probably.
Yeah, somebody had uninstalled the program and didn't reinstall it properly.
Yeah, how was I gonna go there?
I know, it's my pet peeve right now.
So, and then they'll take care of that. Station 2 should be all set. We replaced their computer in their radio room December, I think. And then the only thing that needed was the 365.
Do you know how many computers we have?
Downside.
We did downsize, but
Well, and here's why I'm asking.
I'm gonna say we're probably around 25 computers.
Really, that many?
2721 Bruce Road.
Can I make a suggestion, if I may? There's no way we're gonna be able to go out and buy, but doesn't it make sense to put replacement computers maybe 3 or 4 a
what I
year.
was just gonna go
Take a
with.
look at, I know mine, for example, in my office you just purchased. Listen, if you need that to get a station running, I don't have a problem with you moving it. Just, but we need to update, because we bought them, I want to say 2015, actually, I believe is when we bought the cache of computers, something to do with Louise through the school district, if I remember right. And they haven't been, we just haven't,
Well, they have been replaced. We've
As
been
they broke.
replacing, but we haven't been, yeah, if
they
they,
broke.
if they needed to update it.
yeah.
Right, and that's where I was going with it. Maybe one of the things we look at for the budget this year is, you know, you got, if you had 25, if you did 5 a year, right, your oldest computer's gonna be 5 years old.
And you can
Keeping
stay
it
on it.
updated. The other thing we need is the software too, right? I mean,
365.
yeah, as software evolves, we should have everything on the same software, but you're gonna run into, some computers won't run the latest software because they don't have the whatever to do it, so.
Yeah. It was something that I did talk with the advanced IT about, was it the beginning of the year when we met with them? About them helping us go through and determine which computers are the oldest, what ones do we need to start replacing, so it has, the conversation has been
It started,
started.
okay,
We just need to get that, a solid replacement plan down.
right.
But I think we need to replace, especially the officer's computer, obviously, with it not working. So I am gonna make a motion to spend up to $2,500 to replace the 2 computers. And hopefully that will fall within the budget of both of them. If we can't, at least get the one and we can revisit the second one.
Wayne, when he told you, you know, ballpark 1,100, that was the computer and the software?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Yeah, so far we've replaced 8 computers in the last couple of years.
And so we're
It's kind of like when they die, we
we
replace
have a
them.
replacement program, it's just when it dies, we replace it.
Right.
Being proactive.
Being proactive, right.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I don't think there was anything else on the security and computers. Chief's comments.
Yeah. Who? Got a seatbelt? All right, so we'll start on what's on the list. It says jet skis, request payment. Becky, can you write up the resolution for the jet skis? Fantastic. When you're ready to do that, I can, or just continue on.
Business.
Okay, thanks. I'll get rid of that. There's a request, Chief Belzak, there's a handful of us that usually go to Spencer Board Parade. That's on June 8, 2023. We typically let him, well, we've always let him and a few of us use one of our vehicles. We brought Squad 99 before, which is basically a fire company-owned unit. The difference is we were asking, and this you had mentioned about the lawyer, Nick Delia has always allowed us to use his trailer that is insured and registered and inspected and is legal. The question is it okay if we pull it with one of the chief's cars? You had mentioned you're going to talk to the attorney's office.
Hi,
Hi, attorney. I'm Tony.
I'm Zach.
How are you, Zach? Good to meet you,
Good
brother.
to meet you. First time I heard of this. So it's a chief's car pulling
It's
Members.
members trailer.
yeah, lighted, insured, registered, inspected. The question is, it's a district-owned vehicle. Can we do this?
My gut is yes, but I didn't research this. So I should research it to find out.
We have time. We have
And
time.
the other thing the one thing we do gotta keep in mind is the trailer then becomes we're insuring the trailer. Anything happens to the trailer.
Fair enough.
And I don't care, I'm just, wanna make sure everybody understands it, because
Duly noted.
the towing vehicle covers the trailer.
In a perfect world, I would prefer that we have a trailer for that, but I'm not gonna ask you to buy a trailer
It's a good thing.
to pull a parade vehicle. So.
You weren't afraid to ask for any other?
Fair enough. So, yeah, if you could just let me know, soon with this, just so I can make alternative arrangements. That's all. That was the first thing.
You better make sure it's running first.
What's that?
Better make sure it's running first.
Oh, my brother will have it running.
Well, we could approve it pending approval.
Pending attorney approval, yep.
Yeah, it's
Then we're
not
not
until
waiting.
You know what,
so-
attorneys, district, we don't have to. We forgot. If you'll let us borrow Jeff's trailer for the lift, we won't need to use Nick's trailer. That's insured already through the district, you already own it, it's already registered.
Trailer.
I forgot about that trailer.
No, the
No,
trailer.
the trailer.
Oh, for the scissor lift.
That'll be just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then why did you?
Well, look, Seth,
You got it.
Listen, I will get the answer just so.
I was just gonna say,
No, that's a
it
good
would
thing
be
to
a
know,
good thing
because
to know.
there is sometimes things.
Thank you, Jeff.
Actually, it's good because I use my dump trailer at times to do work, so that would be a good question. because-
That was very nice of you to do that.
Thank you, look at this, look at stuff we accomplished already. All right,
Without even trying.
without even trying, moving along.
gotta get tricked on fire.
Oh, did they?
Okay, first thing on this list is, I want to update my chimney kits for 5 different kits to be identical, replacing all my chimney kits, couple engines, trucks, ladders, but I would like 5 of them. They're identical, that replaces everything. It's in a list that you just got from somebody. Did we pass that list out?
Yeah, Becky's got it.
I did not research pricing. I didn't research, this is what they asked, I'm willing to do it because the state of our kits are horrendous.
All right, so I'm gonna ask the layman question. Why do we need 5?
Because at any given day, each engine, it's each engine in each truck. We're never gonna have all the trucks in one location. It makes sense. We're gonna send a kit to the roof, we're gonna send a kit inside. It's just, we have 5 now, and I think it makes sense for the cost. Again, I didn't do any research as far as costs yet. I will do that if you tell me to, or if you want Wayne to. There's nothing on that list that I would say, oh my God, it has to be brand A. That's why I did not do that.
Do we have an idea we have no idea what they're gonna do?
No idea. I'm assuming probably $300 to $400 a kit. But I didn't do any numbers.
Why don't we give the list to Wayne and have him do some research
Sure,
and bring
Wayne.
that back?
If you're good with it, I'm good with that.
You do your homework, get this stuff
If
done.
you're good with it, I'm good with it.
You know, with the right numbers, and then we
Did
can.
they research it to make sure that it's gonna fit in the cabinets? Because that was a lot of the problems that we had before.
I'd like to, throwing it out here, I'd like to say yes. This is a project that started last winter. I'm bringing it up now because I don't want to start it in December.
Do your homework, get that back to us.
Thanks, Chief. Here. Okay, that's the first, there's that. It says boot drive June 10th, 2023. We're doing a boot drive tentatively, but, okay, it's on the chiefry thing, I didn't, okay. Officer qualifications, my friends. I submitted 2 months ago, approval, or asking you to review the qualifications. I'd like to implement them, and quite frankly, I want to know what else you need from me and how you feel. What our goal was to keep things polished, but also open it up a little bit more. We've cleaned up the verbiage. We believe that what we've created and spent time doing will allow us to broaden our eyes a little bit, but also hold things accountable. I would like, if you approve them, I'm gonna have an election with the blessing of the fire company for at least a captain over at Station 2, possibly a lieutenant at Station 3, possibly. but I can't do any, I'm not gonna have an election because I'm not gonna go through the appointment process without the blessing. I don't know where you're at with it. You've had it for about 2 months now.
The only question I have is on the requirements. Must have 50% of Northwest drills or 12 hours may come from successful completion of external classes. I would just like that raised, only just because as we talked about with COVID, there's so much more stuff that's coming online that people can take.
Can you say that again? I'm not sure I understood.
Which one is it, Tom?
It's on qualifications under number 6 and 7. 50% of the drills for the previous year, 12 hours may come from successful completion of external classes. And I would just like to see that bumped up because there's so many classes available online and other places than department drills. And I think we should be taking that into consideration for people. 12 hours isn't a lot.
What's the date that you're looking at? Just a revision?
I think that's the first one, because this one I have.
Okay, so we already revised that.
Okay, then let me get to it again.
What do you got?
But they took it out altogether.
Okay,
Oh, they did.
but,
Okay,
so you're not
that's
going
what I have
to
right
follow the outside class.
Sure we are, absolutely we
I don't see
are.
it.
You don't say that.
Can I see what you're looking
My eyes were
at?
going.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was 7.
6 and 7.
Yeah, seeing that note, reduce future rate to a white.
Any member running for an officer position must meet the following requirements in addition to, you know what we can do? I don't need you to approve this tonight. Can we bring this up at the next work session for possible improvement? You read it, again, send me the questions in writing, and I'll be able to respond to them in writing. If we can do that.
I think we can. I think where the confusion is, this is what happened last time. The term, when it says must have attended at least 50% of the Northwest Fire District drills, those are in-house drills. You have to attend half of the drills that we have every year.
Correct, that's correct.
What Tom is referring to is that, are you requiring outside? Do you want them to
Okay.
have 12 hours of additional training outside of your Thursday night drills?
Okay, great.
Because originally, I think it said like 50% or 12 hours, and it's like, well, it's
All
not
right.
either or,
It's
it's,
gone now.
and then they took it out
12 hours
completely.
may come from.
That was removed from the first one.
Right.
I'm trying to,
Yeah, that's March. And he's got the.
yeah, you gotta be looking at the one from April
Right, I did,
11th.
but I'm saying you've eliminated it in the new
In
plan.
the revised one of April, you just totally eliminated that.
We eliminated it out of there because we wanted to be clear that you needed 50% of in-house drills. Okay, that was what 100% created the confusion the last 3 or 4 years in election processes. So by removing the 12 hours, as far as what I would call continuing ed, but I thought we left the
So
You
continuing ed.
did under chiefs.
You
The
do
last
under
line under
chiefs
chief, you
on the
have
second
12
page.
hours.
The very
The
last,
very last line.
Yes, there it is.
so as long as you only
Right
want
here.
it for the chiefs, not for captains or lieutenants, you're good.
It's still there.
That is, because if you've made it to the chief's ranks, we're not telling you what class to take. We're telling you, you've got to take 12 hours of continuing ed. If you needed an Excel spreadsheet class, we'll take it. If you needed the seminars that you love to go to, or Brad Pinsky's conference, that's where the 12 hours come in.
But it's only for chiefs.
Correct. For the company officers, we're saying to get started, you needed 50% of your in-house classes plus, or your in-house training plus these classes. Number 1, firefighter 1 or equivalent. That's where the 12, that's the difference.
Okay.
So the 12 hours is there, it's just down,
Yeah, you just put it.
yeah. Yes, so if you're willing to review this and possibly consider voting on it in the work session, if you would do that, then I would like to have an election that I could talk to the president of the company about. I'm willing to wait though, if you're okay with that. Okay, I'll move along.
May you put it on the workshop?
Oh yeah, remember, we didn't have a workshop last week, we got a bunch. So I passed out, or I didn't yet, can you take one of these and pass it down, please? So as you're looking at it, there are RTPs that I have. The top one would be theoretically,
Bless you.
Thank you.
is, the top one is RTP. We need to do, we're looking to do 5 live burns and 1 flashover training at the Fairmount Tower. I'd like to take it out of the training budget if you'll approve it for $3,000 for a total of 5 sessions and 1 flashover program done at Fairmount. And then the second RTP is on the back. We built in-house a training prop. And what you're looking at is what they call 4-inch 4x4 foam blocks. It's basically, they fall into the blocks for protection. That's what it is. For a quantity of 500, it's $559.99. And that's, I have one more RTP that I didn't have a copy for you guys, but I did email you today. My safety officer, Sean Dunlop, did some research for us and found what they call Fire Department Safety Officers Association. And what it is it's an online program that I'll call it, that has all up-to-date safety officer information, training things, all kinds of information along the lines of the safety officer. I originally asked for 2 people, but I actually changed my mind, and I'd like you guys to consider spending $99 to become part of this program. There's information here that I'll pass along on how to pay for it, but that would put his name into the system. He'll get the account and all the training and all the stuff that he needs to bring him up to snuff in today's standards. Those are the 3 RTPs that I have. Again, you have 2 of them. The third one is $99. Wondering if you guys could consider all 3 of those. I don't know if you want to do it now or under new business. Consider it.
I'll make a motion to approve those 3 items that Tony's presented. So it's $3,599.99 and then $99.
I'll second it.
You're gonna sign one up for now
Yep.
and see how.
Yep. One person. There's,
Yeah.
I'll give this to Megan. This is specific on how you get signed up. I don't,
There's a motion on the floor, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
thank you on that. So, plugging along, system notification stuff. We're going to be involved with the annual DWI program at the high school. The tentative date is, the concrete date is June 2nd. However, there's a rain date of June 7th. Again, that's working at the high school with the police department, the ambulance corps, and the DWI mock drill. Okay? June 6th, then June 7th is the rain date. Did I say June 2nd?
You said June 2nd.
Okay, good, all right. All right, on June 6th, which is the first Tuesday of June, I have scheduled what we call our second town hall meeting.
Wait, what day is it? June 6th?
Yes, that is the first Tuesday of the month, June 6th. I would ask that I'll start to create the agenda that I had from last week or last month, which is very small. I would ask you if there's anything that the commissioners would like to openly discuss on that point about direction and whatnot and what we're doing. That would be the time. I've been inviting at this one formally as the commissioners, the company officers, the chief officers, and the boards of both the organizations at this point. That's June 6th, unless, majority of people can't make it, but It's also time to discuss the next 6 months. May 20th, which is next, or a week from
June
Saturday.
6th, is that here?
Yes,
The
sir.
town meeting is here?
Yes,
What
sir.
time?
I'm gonna ask for 6:30. Try to cap it at 2.5 hours. Try. Right? Should be no longer than that. Do you want longer? I don't know, I hope not.
Better not.
2 hours?
Doing my best. All right, May 20th, I have truck 1 going to assist Jordan Fire Department with past fire quarter, Mike Waters services and whatnot. Just got to find an operator. I've committed the truck. It'll be in Jordan for that day. I know it's on the day of the fire company's clam bake, but I'm guessing not everybody's going to go to that. So, but I have a truck committed. I gave you all March and April's called or status report. You know how we were getting percentages and whatnot on how many people per whatever? I decided to do it differently. You need to be aware of who's coming to fire calls and who's not. You read this yourself. We'll have to discuss some things in June. We don't need to openly discuss it tonight, but I wanted you to be aware firsthand of what we're looking like. And I have a piece of apparatus, last but not least, on this Saturday going to Oswego for the town of Lysander codes training program for the day. I don't know which truck they're taking, but there'll be a vehicle going there. And last, I think that is it. Unless you have any questions for me.
Jesus, that's a lot.
Right? We still have stuff to do, Tony, geez.
How's that for communication?
All right, moving on, nominations and resignations. So we have members, Matt Dolphinus took a 2-month leave from April 1st to May 31st. And I know we already approved Bill Hopper's out of district, and I know we already did Bernie Stiluski moving to retired life, so. Those are all the changes in nominations. So old business, there's a couple of things that aren't on here that I'm going to add, and I apologize, one will be very quick. But the first is the permissive referendum to remove money from the equipment fund for the purchase of the jet skis that we had designated the funds for when we did budget last year. So, resolution, whereas the Board of Fire Commissioners of the Northwest Fire District did establish pursuant to General Municipal Law 6-D an equipment fund created in accordance and upon the conditions set forth in GML 6-D. Now be it resolved by the Board of Fire Commissioners of the Northwest Fire District, towns of Lysander and Van Buren, Onondaga County, New York. The board authorizes the expenditure from the equipment fund of an amount up to $35,000 for the following purpose: the purchase of 2 2022 Sea-Doo GTIs, the 2022 Trident trailer, and accessories to include lettering, life jackets, and throw bags. The question of adoption of this resolution was duly put to a roll call, and the vote which resulted in as following.
Becky?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Randy?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
30 days from today, if there's no issues, we can remove the money and pay the gentleman. A couple of quick things. The 2010 Ford, the old Chief's vehicle, was on the auction block. It just closed like a half hour ago. Top bid was $3,950. So would we like to accept it or counter?
So move we accept it.
A second.
Or return the rest of your time, walk upstairs, you can close it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And so this is just a little update that I wanted to give. So I had a conversation today in regards to the FASNY Summer Games. that we had kind of originally agreed to allow them to have here. FASNY was going to provide all of the insurance and everything for the games, but there's been some additional things that have occurred since our kind of initial, hey, we can just have some games here on the property. So I had a discussion today with Brad, and I also talked to Tony Blackwell, who's the insurance person. And I, as well as our lawyer, strongly recommends we do not host a pub crawl. The pub crawl was never brought to us and asked our permission. And he said there's a huge liability on the district and we should not be doing that, and our name should not be associated in any way, shape, or form with it. So we may have to eat a little bit of crow, because I know Jeff has already put it out there. But Jeff needs to, unfortunately, learn that he needs to ask permission before just doing something, especially of that nature.
Fair enough.
Unless you guys are okay with, okay.
No, we're not going against the attorney.
The other part of that was, yeah, the camping request. And again, Brad was not in favor of allowing campers on the property, although when I talked to Tony, as far as insurance purpose-wise, he didn't seem to have too much of an issue on the insurance side of it, other than being smart and saying like, hey, you shouldn't like allow them to park near trees in case there's a storm and a tree comes down. Tony did say that we should be requiring insurance from all of the campers if we allow it, to prove that they have liability insurance. My personal, and this is just my personal feeling, I do not want to allow camping on the properties. I know Jeff was, thinking that these are self-sufficient, and well, campers can be self-sufficient. I have one. There is no place for them to plug into. So they're going to be running generators. They're going to be having campfires. They're going to be drinking, not that we all in our time have not done that, but I don't know that we want to allow it on the property. That's just my personal feelings on it. I don't care for it, but I will let the rest of the board make their own decision.
I need to chime in if you don't mind. I truly believe that we're not talking 15 campers and 15 generators and 15 separate fires. That's not what the deal is. Could it grow that way? Maybe if this goes, usually when Baldwinsville Fire Department does things, it turns into something really good, right? But when Jeff sent that email out, there was only a request from one organization, simply because there's no hotels in the area, with the exception of, I wasn't going to say names.
I get that there's not maybe anything right in town, but you go down Route 31 and there's...
Oh, I don't want people drinking and driving 5 to 10 while. All said and done, we've hosted field days. We've hosted old-fashioned days. We do have the insurance and coverage. We do, right? Unless Tony told us no, that we do not have proper coverage to hold an event like that.
What event are you talking about?
The pub crawl's gone. I'm talking the following day, the event in putting the guy, we're not gonna have them plug in because I don't want to take a taxpayer's electricity. That's not, we're talking about setting up a camper over in the corner overnight. That's what we're talking. We're not talking 15 or 20 campers set up like we're at the places that you and I go camping with. I'm trying to figure out the word to say this. And not for nothing, we're gonna be, the guys that are putting on the event will be here. We're not gonna have separate campfires. We're gonna have, the plan is to have one fire over in the fire pit that's already there. We're not allowing separate campfires. We're not doing that. We're not selling alcohol. It's not a fundraiser. It's something similar to those that I hope at some point you guys can come down to the Winter Games. It's kind of the similar thing. The difference is the hotel thing. So again, I respect and whatever you gotta do, you gotta do. But I'm assuring you it's not going to be 50 campers out the parking lot setting up like Dairy Lake. Like to, but I doubt that. You should have reservations, but I think we are responsible enough and we'll do the right thing to make sure that the district's not put in harm's way and it's not gonna be a problem.
So I answered the email, and I chimed in that I really didn't have a big problem with it, except with some exceptions. It's not somebody camping there that's a problem for me, it's all the ancillary stuff, like the campfires, like the generator, that type of stuff. And I didn't have a clue how many we were talking.
Yeah.
The one thing I think we will have an issue with, most people don't have insurance on their campers because it's covered when they're pulling it with their pickup truck, it's covered under their auto insurance. If it's parked in their driveway, it's covered on their homeowner's insurance.
Right.
Now, when I had a camper, I did have insurance on it because I had it at a permanent site. And if a tree came down on it, they weren't responsible for it, so I had insurance on it. I think somebody's gonna have a hard time giving us a certificate of insurance. Because they're gonna have to get something, they're gonna have to buy something, you know what I'm saying, to prove to us that it's insured.
Mr. Lawyer, I got a question. My guy, or a person pulls in the camper's parked here, and a storm comes through, and oh my God, something happens to the camper. What is the legal standpoint in your opinion?
The legal standpoint for the district, if a storm comes through?
Oh my God, a storm comes through, and or hypothetically speaking, we're out there and some guy trips over the tongue of the trailer.
Different scenarios there. The storm one's a little bit different because you'd have to show that the district somehow was responsible, right? With a storm, no, unless, as the insurance person said, you're under a tree and then that's technically district property that caused that, right? The tripping over the tongue, you risk liability because you are on district property and you're allowing them to be there. It's almost becoming an extension of district property in a way.
Don't we as the district, when I was sitting in your seat, Steve, I remember Blackwell and Mike White saying that you're covered for everything. If somebody comes on the property and slips and falls, you got insurance coverage. If oh my God, the guy's on workers' comp and he comes into the property and slips and falls, you got insurance coverage.
Right. And the liability issue is a little bit different than the insurance issue. The liability exists no matter what, regardless of whether you have insurance or not. The question is whether the insurance would actually cover different things. But from a lawyer's perspective, you want to mitigate risk as much as possible. So my answers are always going to be, don't do anything that's going to bring any sort of additional risk than you need to.
Everything we do is a risk, though.
Fair.
I mean, am I right to say that everything that we do? We agree to disagree, but
Yeah, I gave my opinion.
I respect everything in the reservations. We do the parade lights that started out with 8 fire trucks that are now whatever it is by thousands of people. We get through that and protect the fire district that way. Station 3, look at that. Again, I want to just, I trust my guys in this.
Is there any other option nearby other than fire district property? to put campers?
Not anymore. I mean, hell, your house. No,
Would Tops let us put them in the parking lot?
why would they want to assume the liability for our event?
So why would we?
Because it's our event.
I tend to agree with you. I don't think we're gonna have, I think he was looking at a bigger picture. One person called and he thought, oh, maybe we ought to see if we can do something for him.
That's ultimately what I can, it's interesting, when we go to Spencerport, part of Jeff's email was, we sleep at the firehouse overnight, you know? Sleeping in the firehouse or, I mean, it's just, this is, I don't know if we're gonna get 5 teams or we're gonna get 10 teams. I don't know. I don't wanna tell you, oh my God, McIntyre said 5 teams and they show up and there's 25 teams, and I don't wanna put that in your mind, but.
Well, it's not like we're advertising we're gonna have camping either.
No, it's just Kilowog from Marathon. Kilowog's the other side of McGraw right there.
Yeah.
Wants to pull their camper and the guy's crashing it for the night and then they're going home Sunday after the game.
Are we risking, are we gonna have firemen that are gonna be staying here on ground?
Well, if you said we gotta have some security, then absolutely, I'll make that happen.
So it'll be none of our members that will be camping here, correct?
Not that I'm aware of, unless a couple want to spend the night in the room. We're not bringing additional campers that I've heard, to be honest with you. We've had one fire department reach out and say, can we bring our camper?
So as far as you know, it's only one camper?
That's it. Or one team, maybe they'll bring 2 campers.
campers.
I don't know. I don't want to tell you something that be a full-faced lie. From what I understand, it's just Kilowog, and the Kilowog Marathon guys hang together. There'll be some pop-up tents out there when we're doing the games like the old days of the conventions. You know, similar to that. Ideally, we would love to turn back the clock to 1985 when we used to do all of that. I don't think it's going to be that way, but with any luck, we will. There's plan A and B. Plan A is the push ball, the bucket brigade, that stuff that we did. And then if it's awful weather, I don't know if it'll be cornhole or what it'll be. We are doing, I think Sunday's broom ball event is at the Radisson, what do you call that thing? That's over there.
Are you sure it's only one? Because Jeff is very clear in here that, you know, he's like, we could comfortably have multiple campers on site.
As far as I know, there's only been one. Jeff is a planner. There's only been one department that said, hey, can we bring a camper? That Jeff Light turned on is asking for permissions instead of begging for forgiveness.
Well, as long as we're not advertising it.
No, I don't expect we're gonna have 15 campers out there. It just doesn't make sense, there's not room. You know, there's a lot has to transpire to even put 1 or 2 over on the corner. But we're not plugging into the firehouse. We're not plugging in, we're just parking it, so. But again, if you say no, it's no, you know, we'll make it work.
So what's the board's decision?
I make a motion, we approve it.
Do I have a second?
How about with parameters? Give me some parameters if there's a reservation.
Like I stated in my email, I'm not against it. I certainly understand the attorney's viewpoint, and I understand Tony Blackwell, because I think I said that in the email, you know, we need to check with Tony. I just don't want the expectation that somebody's gonna be able to give us a certificate of insurance, because Ain't gonna happen. Because
It
it'd be
could.
cheaper, it could, yes, but it'd be
I have
cheaper
insurance on
from,
my camper.
it'd be, you're a responsible person. Most people don't.
Let me ask you this, is the insurance, having insurance doesn't waive the liability, right?
And like he said, it's two.
Okay,
two
can I
totally
understand that
different
right?
things.
Yeah.
So whether there's insurance or not, the liability, there's a calculated risk.
Yeah, the insurance is basically just going to provide you funds if you're found liable for something. But the liability exists no matter what.
It doesn't matter, if something happens, we're gonna get brought in on the plane.
No matter what.
They're gonna sue everybody,
So
so
we got deep pockets.
they're gonna come after everybody. It's not gonna be whether they got it or not. We're all gonna be named in it, so.
Yeah, especially the Ray Granner. Yeah. Got big ones.
I mean, I get it, I know what you're looking for, but I'm not comfortable with it, I'm gonna be honest with you. Because I can see this thing escalating and.
Not comfortable with what, Randy?
With having campers on the ground, because I can see pulling in here and having 20 campers out there. You don't know, you don't know. I realize what he said, you got one, but whether you have 1 or 10, I'm not comfortable with the liability side of it, that's all. So I'm not in favor of it, but that's just strictly my opinion.
Can I just put on a
The rest of the board.
Well, there's a motion, there wasn't a second, so
Okay.
I'll do a roll call.
I don't think we can without it.
No.
Was there a second?
No.
Oh, then not.
Is Jeff advertising this? It sounds like he's advertising it.
Yeah, it's on Facebook, it's throughout FASD.
Yeah.
But there's not room for 20 campers, there's not, we're pushing 5. But that's just, man, I hope there's 20 campers, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, but you don't know.
All right, so at this point, there was a motion made, there's no second, so I am going to say that we are going to not approve the camping.
When is this event?
June
16th to the
16th through the 18th.
Okay, like a month, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, any other old business that's not on the agenda?
Did you get everything you needed for ISO audit from the water department? Did we get what we needed?
I guess not.
No, I think that was enough.
I had it down to bring up and I wasn't sure I wanted to. So, no, I didn't. I had Jeff Belzak one more time today reach out to the superintendent of public works for the village of Baldwinsville, asking for the information so we could do our ISO audit and update. And we finally got a text back that says we'll have Corey Perkins reach out to you. So I'm giving that a week. If I don't have it in a week's time, I'm going to the village board publicly. Put that on camera, please.
Okay, other than ISO, how about our hydrant adapters?
It's in the same location, the same situation.
Well, I think it's time that we went to your your storage.
Well, I hear you, but what I do, right now, our priority, or my priority, and I don't know how you feel as a board, is the ISO thing. I didn't want the adapters to muddy the waters. Again, if I get my information in a week, I will approach the board in a different manner, in a different way about the storage fittings. A week's time, I'll be asking you to attend the village board meeting with me. Because in a tactful, nice way, enough's enough. That is affecting our taxpayers' business insurance.
Absolutely. That's why I'm asking.
Unfortunately, I don't have the best information.
I was just curious if you got anything yet.
1 week, I'll be going to the board if I don't get what I need.
Anybody else on old business?
All right, moving on to new business. Does anybody have any new business they want to discuss?
Actually, yes. Especially since we got the attorney in the room here. We had a conversation months ago or something about parking private vehicles overnight. Remember, we had that conversation? But I don't think we ever really came to any kind of, if we want to allow that, if we don't want to allow that, if it's a good idea to do that, if it's a bad idea to do it. I mean, I don't want to not do something, I don't want to prevent somebody from doing something that's not a big deal, but I don't know that it's not a big deal.
So what we have happen periodically is we have members request permission from the commissioners to park a trailer, for example,
Okay.
in the firehouse for a day or two,
In the fire?
inside the firehouse.
Okay.
So we have had mixed emotions about it and, you know, not outside the firehouse or in the parking lot. That's one thing, but inside the firehouse for weather conditions, et cetera.
Is it just a purely private thing? Is there any sort of district business behind why they're doing
No,
this?
it's personal. So I have a motorcycle that I'm gonna be going away on a weekend, but I wanna get ready on Tuesday and I'm not leaving until Friday. And and it's gonna snow out. So I wanna bring it in and I wanna park. It's not me, I'm just using an example.
Right.
You're gonna ride a motorcycle nowhere?
So they wanna park it. And it's a number of other small things too. A vehicle, they wanna put a vehicle in for, you know.
And on a temporary basis, no like payment or anything?
No.
No,
No.
nothing.
It's
Okay.
just storing it for 24 hours, 48 hours, helping a member out. That's what,
Okay.
I want to, again, I want to put my motorcycle in, I'm leaving 2 days, I want to wash it, wax it. Can I, again, I know there's liability, right?
Right.
Is there a difference between parking it in the firehouse or next to the firehouse or out in the parking lot?
The thing that I think of, and this makes sense, you should all probably think of this too, being in the fire department, is the risk of fire if it has, you know, a source of
Sure.
fuel. A
Or
trailer,
somebody
maybe not so
vandalized,
much.
not that they would, but motorcycle's on the stand and it falls over. Now who's liable?
Right.
Did it happen because it wasn't properly set up, or did somebody push it over because they don't like Steve Irwin?
Right. The inside thing's a little bit different than outside. Originally, I was thinking you were saying outside, and that wouldn't be as big of a deal. The inside thing, I think I would caution against, but that is along the same lines as the trailer, that question that we were talking about, whether you can use a trailer with a district vehicle and it's a private trailer. So when I research that question, I will verify the answer. Right now, I would say I wouldn't allow it inside. But I'll verify.
We do still assume some responsibility if it's parked outside. Say somebody
Yeah,
steals it, technically, are we liable?
Yeah, you could be.
See?
You're telling me if I park my car over here overnight, somebody steals it, the fire district's liable for that?
I'm not saying they for sure will be, but there could be a claim that's made that you didn't provide adequate security to make sure that people's possessions aren't going to be taken. So they could find a way, yes. But the same thing could be said of, you know, the Tops Market across the street too, so.
Well, that was my next question. What about I pull it across out there, leave it unlocked, somebody rips me up? You telling me Tops is gonna be held liable for that?
I don't know that like I said, I don't know necessarily that they're actually going to be liable per se. There could be a claim against them. That doesn't mean that they're going to be guilty of it. But I'm sure that Tops probably doesn't allow overnight parking. That they probably have a policy against that for that reason.
Right, and if somebody was asked, they'd probably tell them no. And I think that's what the difference is.
Right.
We're being asked and we say, okay,
Now you're liable.
that's what I'm worried about. Again, I'm not trying to prevent somebody from doing something. I just want to make sure we don't open ourselves up to, what if somebody parks a car in here and it catches fire and burns the firehouse down?
Right.
Now, what if our insurance company says it's gotta go on their insurance company because that started the fire, and they only have the bare minimum $50,000 New York State coverage?
Yeah, then you're gonna be paying
Then
it
we're
out.
screwed.
Right.
I think we're bad. Ought to buy a bunch of postage signs.
Yeah.
No trespass. No, it's come up a couple times, and that was my biggest
I
thing,
mean,
is the
maybe-
liability issue.
Maybe a release can be signed, right? That somebody releases us.
Yes.
So if their bike gets tipped over, if Randy's bike gets tipped over, and we don't know if Ed did it because he doesn't like Randy, or it just accidentally fell over.
Right.
We're not gonna fix their bike.
You could do a release. Now, a release isn't gonna necessarily cover every single extenuating circumstance. Say there's a motorcycle parked in here, somebody's walking by, it does tip over and it falls on that person, the release might not cover
Cover that, right.
that. Now, that's kind of a just cockamamie idea that I'm throwing out there. But a release could definitely be explored to do that, especially for outside, I would think. You have a little bit less risk to the building itself if it's outdoors.
I mean, my thought is if we can mitigate our, I'm all for allowing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you also have to consider, not necessarily from a legal perspective, but just from your own perspectives, if you're gonna run into any issues with members taking advantage of that, just
Give them an inch, take a mile.
rust bucket out there for a little while.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we could be opening a huge can of worms.
Yeah, you'd have to have a policy on it, a written policy on it.
Food for thought.
Good point.
Just until, might as well know what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it before somebody asks again. know?
You gotta keep going. I mean, every now and then, I come back on a Sunday for a camping trip, and I park out there and wash the camper and pick it up the next day. It's almost as a benefit to the member. Correct me if I'm wrong, in board, there's liability in everything that we do.
Absolutely.
If the stranger from across the street comes walking in, parks his car, and it catches something on fire, are we liable?
Say that again.
Okay, I come in and park my car here, and it catches fire, I'm a member, are the district liable for my car?
Depends, are we gonna call?
See.
Okay, so the stranger comes in for a fundraiser, and his car catches fire,
Right.
are we liable?
Depending, less likely with that, and there's a reason for that, because the parking lot's implied to be used for certain purposes temporarily, right? So if you are coming here to park to respond to a call, it's implied that you have permission to do that, and the
Going to a
district-
call, I think, is different anyways, but.
Right, but if you're inviting people on for, like you had the chicken barbecue, right?
Right.
Right, so you're inviting people into the parking lot for a temporary basis. That's a little bit different than you can store your personal property here for an extended period of time over 12 or 24 hours. But yes, there's always gonna be liability. I mean, there's still liability even with a temporary thing too.
That's where I was going with this, in the end.
Well, the bottom line is we want to try to alleviate any liability when we possibly can. But you're right, it's always out there.
I'm not looking to, honestly, I'm not trying to prevent somebody from doing that. I just want to make sure if we need a release or we need something, that we have what we need if we're gonna do that.
Without question, I know if
That's all I
I
want.
put my camper here for 24 hours, I'm not banking on the fire company to be responsible for it. So if there's a mechanism by signing a document that you're not liable for my camper for 24 hours, even though you're hooking me up, that's no problem. Everybody's gonna do that.
And again, I'm not trying
I mean,
to,
not for nothing, Jeff uses his hydraulic trailer to do district business that he stores it here weeks on end, not weeks, days on end. So, just be careful what we're asking for a lack of better terms. That's all I'm thinking, but thank you.
Good.
yeah,
Anybody have anything else in new business? All right, station usage. Station 1, May 7th and August 6th for another chicken barbecue. June 16th through 18th is the FASB Summer Games. And Station 4, August 26th for a graduation party in the Hollister. Any comments from the public?
Yes.
The summer games, is there going to be alcohol on the property?
Not that I'm aware of, have not been asked about that.
So the teams that come in, because I know down the winter games, the teams bring alcohol.
We haven't been asked about it.
All right, I'm asking if the teams can bring alcohol in. We're not selling it, we're not making a profit, they're bringing it in. That's a formal request. Sorry.
Mr. Attorney.
Okay, so.
We're never gonna see you again, are we?
That's
never
first and last time I'm here, right? I think, I'm not aware, I know there's a conversation with Brad earlier today. Becky, I think you
Yes.
might have talked to him, and he was discussing maybe working out some sort of agreement with the other attorney for
FASNY.
FASNY. That maybe will be included in that, so I
Let
think
us
that's
know.
possible,
Okay.
yeah. You can do what you were considering with the other resolution earlier, which is pass this pending approval from the attorneys, or agreement from the attorneys, if you want to pass it right now.
I'll make a motion.
To allow teams to bring alcohol and
Pending on attorney's decision.
What we'll do for you guys is, I'll get everything bundled together with a formal report as soon as possible. We'll scrap the pub crawl in, and it wasn't the district's name, it was the fire company's name.
But that's
Correct.
still us, Tony, there is no.
Hear me out, I'm scrapping that. It's after tonight, scrapped. We'll get something formalized on exactly what we're doing. What was the official termination on a camper? That was a no.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get something together in writing, requested the alcohol. We're not selling it, we're not providing it. I'll get something together for you from Belzac and lay it out with some bullet points. Next time, next year, this works. We'll do a little bit better for a job.
I think that's probably been part of the problem, right? Initially, we were asked about the games, but then.
There was facets, exactly.
Yeah,
And for this is
Some of the
brand
stuff you
new, it's
probably
never
didn't-
been done with
Right.
FASNY, it's never been done with the Ballsville Fire Department, so there is a lot of learning curves. And FASNY didn't come on to the last minute, there's zero, unless something's changed, investment by the fire company that I'm aware of, unless that's changed.
That has not changed.
So, again, it's not about a fundraiser, it's about putting the schemes on and seeing where it goes.
I'll second Ed's motion pending attorney approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Zach.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, good luck at him.
By the way, I should just
I'm glad
formally
somebody's
introduce
bringing it up.
myself. I should formally introduce myself. So my name is Zach Longstrath. I know I said Zach earlier. Zach Longstrath with Pinsky Law Group. I've met a few of you before. I live in Beeville. I'm a firefighter from Pennsylvania. Been here for a few months.
Want an application?
I have one.
We ask him every time we see him.
Yeah, I do have one. Well, I potentially will be moving in the next month or so, so I don't want to commit too soon. But that being said, I will be trying to make an appearance as often as possible whenever you need me at the district meetings. So, and I'm sorry to rain on your parades. Sorry, Chief, but
Listen, we're just trying to do the right thing. That, in the end, we agree, you disagree. That I can tell you.
thanks.
Any other comments? No? Good, all right. So we are going to, there was a request for a personnel matter. I actually requested it just because we need to address a letter that was sent to the board. So I'm going to make a motion to close the regular meeting at 8:45, go into executive session, and I am reclusing myself from the executive session.